Hello, my name is Monica McAtee, and I am the K-12 Instructional Technology Coach for the Moses Lake School District. I was K-8 last year. I'm K-12 this year. I'm just going to spend a little bit of time with you to try and give you an overview of the technology used in our school district. I know it's much more complicated than a 5-minute video, but I'm going to try and provide you with resources that you can access when needed. So thank you so much for being willing to sub in our buildings. We could not exist without you. To access this presentation, you can pause the video and write down this URL, the http://bit.ly, and you'll be able to access this information. So one super important part of technology in the Moses Lake School District is that we do have a help desk. So from any phone in the district, you can dial 4411 and we will have tech support on the other end to answer any of your emergency questions. So don't forget that 4411 extension. This document should be in your subfolder as well. I have shared it with all secretaries in the district. And this is just some general information of what to do when you arrive. Again, you'll have access to this digital document because there are embedded links, and there is the link to get to this document. There's that reminder of 4411 again, and then just again, a few helpful tips and tricks for you to be able to access. You have my email address and you can contact me at any time. When you are, before you leave for the day, this just reminds you to turn off your Promethean or projector or the TV in the classroom. You can go ahead and leave that document camera on and make sure to log out of the computer, but you don't really need to turn the computer off. You can if you want though. Oops. So I have also shared with staff in our district this slideshow, which has all of the different classroom technology in our district. And I have asked teachers to cut and paste information from this slideshow onto their subplans so you know what they have in their classroom. So again, I shared this with teachers and I told them to cut and paste. So I gave them these directions: cut and paste, screenshot, print out, whatever works best for you to share your setup with any substitute teacher that comes into your class. And then if their equipment is not included, they needed to let me know. But all of these things should be somewhere in your subnotes, and they should be matching what the teacher has in their room. Again, here's that information for me. I am at your beck and call. So 793-7498 is my phone number. You can email me at mmcatee. You can also send me a Google chat. Chat is just like texting, but it is Google and it is the school district address. So if on any browser you go to chat.google.com and search for Monica McAtee, that chat works really well. I will get that quickly. I know I have different requests from subs. I've shared that with teachers. A few important things. Sometimes you have to show YouTube videos to your students, and sometimes you'll get this bar across a YouTube video that says video is not approved for MLSD. But because you have a teacher account, you can click that approve button and you can watch that video. Hopefully teachers will give you information if you need it on speakers. Some teachers give you information for their Google Classroom codes. And I've also given them tips and tricks on how to do digital subnotes, which should make both their life and your life easier. I've given some shortcuts for websites that you need access to. Teachers should give those to you. And then here are here's the hardware available in our classrooms. Many have Promethean boards. We do have different versions of Promethean boards. So this picture may not always match your Promethean boards. I know Groff Elementary has the latest and greatest Prometheans, and it looks a little different, but has most of the same buttons. So Active Inspire is software that's available on the desktop for you to use. Some teachers have Sharp panels that are interactive instead of Prometheans. You don't need to memorize this information. Again, teachers should cut and paste or copy this into their subnotes so you can have access when you walk in the room. Some teachers have Mimeo projectors, some Casio. Dot cams are something you'll be using. If you have a dot cam that looks like this, we call this a hover cam, you'll need to look for Flex 10 software on a Windows machine or this logo on a Macintosh. The majority of our computers have these AverVision cams. And to open up AverVision software, you're looking for Sphere 2 software. Now, I know the main frustration with Sphere 2, sometimes it says you can't access the software because someone else has access to it, and those notes are in here. So if you ever have that problem, you're going to need to restart the computer, which is always a good idea. And then they will disconnect the Sphere software from your teacher, and it will allow you to open it as well. Some people have an older cam, and you're going to have to change the source right on the machine. And then Windows P is kind of a big deal. So most often what you see on the teacher's computer monitor is the same image that you see on the Starboard or Promethean. So you see the exact same thing. We call that duplicate image. If you see two different things, so you see one thing on your computer screen and one thing on the Promethean, we call that extended display. Windows can be dragged between those two monitors. If you don't like the setup that you have, go ahead and look on your keyboard, and you're looking for the Windows key, and then you're going to click on the P key at the same time. And that will allow you to change your setup from duplicate to extended or vice versa. So if you're kind of confused with what's happening on your computer monitor versus your projected image, click that Windows P button and kind of play around with that. Some people do have PowerPoint slides, and PowerPoint automatically changes your display into extended display, and you'll have to do that Windows P to get it back into duplicate. I know that's kind of confusing, but play with it and you'll figure it out. If you have a Mac doing extended display, of course it's different. So there are directions for a Mac. And then again, those reminders of before you leave, you can leave that cam off, but most other things are being turned off. So if teachers aren't sharing this information with you, you have access to this slideshow as well. So everybody should have you should have your own email access. And we used to give you kind of a default password, but you're going to need to access your Google account every time you're working in our schools. That's how you'll access people's stuff. And you should be able to get that from the HR department here at the admin office. So again, this is just a little bit of the equipment in our buildings. And again, you need to know that we are a Google district. So we live in Gmail and Google Drive. We live in Google Classroom. The majority of your teachers should put all student work in Google Classroom, and that's how students are going to be able to connect with their schoolwork. You can access this Google account and these apps on any browser, but we do prefer that you use Google Chrome and not Safari or Firefox or any of those. So Chromebooks, as of fall 2021, all students in grade 512 have a Chromebook checked out to them, and they take home most nights. There are some changes. Not all fifth graders take them home. But with this slideshow, you have a link to our technology handbook, which is all of our rules and regulations. Here's a link to how we teach internet safety and digital citizenship. So take a peek at those. You will be taking attendance for your students using Skyward. So you will always start. MLSD 161 has lots of good information for you. You're going to probably live there a little bit when you're in our buildings, but find the staff tab, and there is another link to Skyward, and you're going to employee access. To log into Skyward, to take attendance, you'll have your own login and password. So this will be different than your Google address. The secretary at each school will attach you to your class so you are able to take attendance. So you do have to prove your knowledge of some of this information, clicking on this assessment form, and they will get back to you regarding your results. But again, from students and staff, principals and administrators, from parents and community members, thank you so much for subbing in our district. We could not function without you. The only other thing I wanted to show you today, again, is that MLSD site. So if I go to mlsd161.org, we've got notifications here. But under the staff tab, lots of important information. So we've got substitute information. We've got our technology help desk, our Learning Hub website. but we also have Skyward where you can take attendance. So spend some time on mlsd161.org.